It is a jobs day, but the great distraction this morning is history made in Moscow. The president of France, the Chancellor of Germany, will meet in Moscow with Vladimir Putin, with echoes across centuries of the Battle of Borodino, the Battle of Kiev, and World War II. Our Ryan Shulcoat bathes amid just stunning distrust. I've seen this word too many times this morning, Ryan. Measure for us, gauge for us the distrust.
Well, it's extraordinary. It's difficult to imagine three people sitting down full of more distrust, actually hoping to have a constructive conversation. You heard Angela Merkel. She's about to fly here, and she said she doesn't know what's going to come of the talks. We heard the French president kind of suggest that he was doubtful, too, saying that, look, France and Germany won't go down in history as having not tried to stop this war.
Right.
So I think that no one trusts one another, but they're going to make their best effort to try and get some kind of ceasefire going.
I'm confused. Is there a prepackaged deal from the West?
It does not appear to be a deal that the Russian president would readily accept. What we've heard is that they want to take the Minsk agreement. This is something they agreed on a couple of months ago, and for that to be the foundation for a new deal. But the reality is the Russian president and the Kremlin, I don't think they really like that, and that never really went anywhere. We had about a month of peace, and we've had major violence since then. So the quick answer is no, but maybe they're keeping something, you know, real close to their chests.
Ryan, papers here in the U.S. and also in Britain are writing about this story, saying that Vladimir Putin is trying to sort of drive a wedge in between Europe and President Obama. Is that your sense of what Putin's strategy is?
Well, absolutely. I mean, you know, the Russians never miss an opportunity to point out that it is Europe that has real business ties with Russia, and it is Europe that suffers from the sanctions, whereas the relationship between the United States and Russia business-wise is pretty minuscule, particularly if you compare it to, say, the U.S.'s relationship with China or something. And it's those EU sanctions, the EU resistance and pressure on the Kremlin that Putin would really like to crack. And he's very happily sitting down with the French and German leaders and not President Obama. And it's interesting that Kerry, who was just in Kiev, not too far from here, right? But nonetheless, he's not even coming here to Moscow.
Ryan, for a time in 2014, Angela Merkel was Vladimir Putin's main contact point with the West, but that relationship got a little chillier in the last half of last year. Do we have any sense of where that relationship is now?
Yeah, that relationship is very, very poor. I think the German Chancellor has made it very clear that she feels like she was burned by the Russian president. One of many leaders. I think President Obama probably feels the same way. So then we saw President Hollande kind of step in to try and be an intermediary. There were some questions about his credibility given his poor approval ratings in France, and also because they have a sort of vested interest trying to sell these warships to the Russians that have been blocked because of the EU sanctions. So the two of them coming together, I think everybody feels like that gives the talks more of a chance than if it was just one of the two.
Ryan, what are the Russian assumptions about the outcome here? Do Russian people assume that Luhansk and Donetsk are sort of going to become Russian protectorates, perhaps similar to what we saw happen in Georgia with those breakaway regions?
Yeah, that's pretty much the assumption, that this all ends with the world forgetting about the east of Ukraine, that the eastern Ukraine nominally is still on your map as part of Ukraine, but effectively you have a sort of satellite state, mini-state, a statelet within Ukraine that is controlled by Russia and perhaps funded by Russia. They see that as the sort of best-case scenario, and I think that's what Russia thinks is going to happen.